Welcome to the operating system class. So we will have a quick brush up towards unit 1, that is the introduction to the operating system, etc. So in this context, the things what this operating system is going to take up, etc. It is going to be illustrated with the subtopics in this from this unit 1, that is introduction, followed by content of concepts of operating systems fundamentals, generations of operating systems, types of operating systems, operating system services, calls, system calls, etc. So the fundamental thing what a definition is going to bother up with an operating system, that it is going to act as an interface between the software and the hardware. So this is the first key takeaway of what it has to be observed. So it is going to be a medium. It is going to be a medium between the computer hardware and a medium between the computer software. So here you can see uh, 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 the application programs. So what are these application programs? That it can be some banking applications, it can be some airline application, it can be some web browsers which are going to be done via the Internet Explorer, etc. Followed by the compilers, the editors, the command line interpreters, and there we will be having this part as a operating system here, and followed by it works with machine languages, it's work with microkernel architecture, and it is going to work with some physical devices. So all these component people are going to call here as a hardwares, and this is what we are going to call it as some application programs. So these are called as some application programs, and in this system programs we do have compilers, we do have editors, and we do have command line interpreters. So that is where it is going to do a mediation, etc. So this is the overall view of the hardware. We have the CPU, we have the memory here, and if I want to link up a monitor, if I want to make up a keyboard, a floppy disk, or a hard disk directly to the CPU, we can't connect. We need a word called as some controllers. So for all these aspects, we have the controllers, and these controllers, they are going to be fabricated with a drivers, and via this driver itself, they are going to handle the devices. So basically, what is an operating system? So it is an extended machine. So and another thing is that it is going to hide the messy details which must be performed, and it is going to use that as a virtual machine. So when we are going to talk about a virtual machine, it is going to create illusions there. So there are multiple programs which are going to be handled at a time, but only one user feels that his program has to be updated, but another user feels that his program has to be done by the operating system. In such a scenario, operating system, it is going to mingle up to see that everybody task is completed, but it creates the illusion, okay, this person's or this guy's program is only getting executed. In this way, the operating system is going to take up that challenge. The next one was, it is going to provide as a resource manager. So what is resource manager? When we call it as a resource, it can be some CPU cycles, it can be IO cycles, it can be some memory cycles. So we are having the cycles. So giving up a CPU time, giving up a IO memory time, etc. So those are all aspects which are going to be part of a resources. So that resource allotment is going to be taken up via the operating system. So that is what this resource management is going to take place. Yes, we have a computer system, and computer system, it is going to have this word called as a hardware, and followed by it is going to have a word called as system programs, which is going to be part and parts of the operating system, and followed by the application software. So application software is a software where people are going to take up his or her own applications, so that it can be a C language, it can be a C++ language, Python, or some things which we can do on a internet online. So all those applications, we call them as application programs, and the linker, the loader, the command prompt, the core functionalities where this operating system is going to support, those we are going to call them as a system programs. And of course, we mentioned the bare hardware components. The bare hardware components, that is the floppy SCD, a mouse, monitor. So those we call them as hardware components, and these hardware components has to be effectively used by the CPU. At that case, we need an interface. So that is all CPU is going to take up. So now this is very interesting diagram here. So what this interesting diagram it is going to produce was, say this, a register, it is going to work in nanoseconds, and cache it is also working in nanoseconds. But we can see this hard disk or a magnetic tape, they are going to consume a millisecond, nor they are going to consume this seconds. So that is one of the observation we can see. And second thing, we can tell that registers, they are going to have high speed memory access. They are going to have some high speed access time. They are going to have some high speed access time, and which it is going to take up with this word, and followed by this typical capacity. So typical capacity, now we can see here a part of a memory here. So the secondary storage devices, the cloud storage devices, they are going to be stored in petabytes, and the flash memory or the secondary memory, what it is going to be there, it is going to be stored in terabytes, and the dynamic, the random access memory, it is going to be stored in gigabytes, and the cache memory, the L2 cache, it is going to be stored up in the megabytes, and followed by, you can see the L1 cache, the registers, the flip-flops, the parts in a arithmetic logic unit. Now they are going to be worked up in this kilobytes. So K stands for a kilobyte, M stands for some megabyte, G stands for gigabyte, and T stands for terabyte, and P stands for petabyte. So this is what we can see. And one more observation what we can see here is, as the size of a memory is going to be decreased, the speed is going to be increased. And second thing, the capacity is going to be increased, thereby the speed is also going to be increased. So that observation we have to look into it. And second thing, this blue part, what we are going to call, that one we are going to call them as a volatile memory. When we are going to say it is a volatile memory, until there is a power, at that time data is going to be worked. If there is some power loss, it is an intermediate storage, so data will be lost automatically. But when we are going to call it as a non-volatile, then we can say there is some permanent nature, in sense that means even though there is power loss, even though some obstacles happen, but still the data can be reconsumed or recapitulated. So that is what regarding the memory matrices or memory and CPU's time, they have their proportion. So milliseconds, microseconds, nanoseconds, picoseconds. So in this way, the time quantum, the time interval of a CPU, it is going to be measured. And when it is going to be in this memory measurement, so it can be worked at kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes, petabytes, etabytes, zettabytes, and yottabytes. So when we are working on a cloud storage right now, when people are right now telling upon the cloud storage, now cloud, it is going to be etabytes. But the laptops what you are working on, they will be in gigabytes or they will be in terabytes. So 500 GB hard disk, 1 terabyte hard disk, 2 terabyte hard disk. So that is where we are now at the home needs laptops are basic laptops or standard laptops. So they are providing the gigabyte of 500 GB hard disk, maybe 1 TB of hard disk. Terabyte is nothing but almost the double of the gigabyte. So there we are going to get these matrices. So this is regarding the very basic content of a operating system. So after this, we will be taking up another topic. So that is the concepts of a basic operating system. So when these concepts of basic operating system, so they talk about the functionalities of an operating system, etc. So that we will be again looking up in this aspect. Okay. So we have this option, and yeah, so this is regarding the concepts of operating system. So what will be the concepts of operating system and how we are going to take up these words? So the basic and fundamental structure people will be telling you will be the memory management, the process management, the device management, file management, security control, job accounting, error detection, and switching between multiple users like context switching, etc. Some of the popular operating systems, some of the examples of operating systems, they can be Linux, they can be Windows. So from IBM OS to OS 400, so Apple Macintosh. So these are some of the operating systems which you can be assumed. So characteristics of an operating system. Yeah, first thing, it is going to support the memory management. So what is memory management? So memory, it is going to be storing the content, and memory, it is going to be the basic focus will be the random access memory. When this is going to be focusing on random access memory, people are going to call them as a primary memory here. So random access memory, it is nothing but the primary memory. So whenever we need to execute the programs, so definitely those programs, they are going to be brought up into the main memory, and then they are going to be given to the central processing unit. So that is regarding the memory management. Second thing, the second primitive, what this is going to be a process. So I'm going to save my program in my memory, then it is going to be call it as a passive state. So if I'm going to say program, if I'm going to call it as program, it is going to be call it as a passive entity. Then if I'm going to call it as a process, then it is going to be call it as an active entity. So that one we have to have an idea on it. So the a process management, it is going to create multiple processes, and once the process has been created, those processes, they need to be executed. So for that execution, it is going to be brought into the main memory. And process management, it is going to have its own algorithm, own CPU scheduling algorithm. That is, it can execute it in a first in, first out, a shortest job first, a least recent use. So in this way, a process is going to be executing the user's jobs, etc. After process management, the third thing will be the device management. The third thing, it is going to be the device management. So when it is going to be a device management, so it is going to keep tracks of what are all the devices. So devices, yes, they can be mouse, they can be printer, they can be keyboard, they can be monitor. So those are all going to be devices, and these devices, they cannot be directly connected to the central processing unit. They have to be brought to a port, PORT port, and there they have to be activated by its drivers. And once the driver is done, then only it is have a compatibility with the CPU. So that all things, it is going to be taken up by the operating system. Yeah, after that, we are going to have a file characteristics. So file characteristics, we are going to have a file management. We call it as allocation and deallocation of a resources. So to which program the memory has to be allocated, to which directory the file it has to be stored. So when it is created, who is the owner, when it is modified, when it is updated. So all that information has to be given to a file, and that file primitive, it is going to be taken up via this file management. And after that, we are going to have a security. So whenever you log in into this your registered email, right? So what happens? It asks you to give a password. So after you are going to give a password, then it only you are going to enter into the your domain email ID. So how is this opening? There it is going to have a user ID and a password, which it is going to give a security measure. So your password is already with the operating system, and it is going to check with your right now what you have typed. So if there is a match, it believes that you are a genuine user, and it is going to allow you into the team code, nor it rejects. So that is where a security, it is going to prevent some unauthorized access. So whoever have a genuine access to enter, only those people they are going to enter in towards it. So that is what this security is going to mention. And few more characteristics what an operating system is going to take up. It take up with memory, speed, accuracy, automation, reliability, and versatility. So these are primitive characteristics where the operating system is going to handle up and etc. And second thing, operating system, it is going to support a network. It is going to support a tree structure. It is going to support some tree structure here. So when it is going to support a tree structure, yeah, it is going to assume these are as root nodes. Then these one, it is going to call it as a middle node, and these we are going to call them as end nodes or leaf nodes. We can call them as leaf nodes. So operating system, it is going to work with some hierarchies here. It is going to work with the hierarchy, and it is going to be maintained with some levels, and it maintains a tree structure. It maintains a tree structure, and thereby it is going to link between one process to another process. So after this process, we do have one more word, that is nothing but the deadlock happening. So there are 4 roads here, so there is no attack here, but you can see this, this position is struck up, this is struck up, and this is struck up, which this ambiguity it is going to create, we are going to call it as deadlock here. So there is no way to move from one process to another process, and all the process they are hang up at that situation, there a deadlock is going to arise. Yeah. After deadlock, we just again mentioned the tree structure. You can see this one, a root directory. Then we are going to have the intermediate nodes, that is student and faculty. And student, it is going to have say leaf nodes here. So one is Robert, Matthew, Leo. So we call them as leaf. We call them as leaf nodes. And the student and faculty, we call it as some middle node. And this one we are going to again, yeah, we call here as a root structure. So operating system, the file management, it is going to observe a tree structure. So that is the good takeaway for this word. Okay. So then assume that we have two processes. Assume that we have two processes, that is process A and that is process B. And how a process A is going to have a coordination with a process B? Yeah, it is going to have a word, call it as inter-process communication. We have a good term called as inter-process communication. And inter-process communication, it is going to be represented as some IPC, inter-process communication. So there we have some shared memory, remote procedure calls, and along with that we are going to have a word called as some pipelining. A word called as pipelining. When we say it is a pipelining, we have only one-to-one communication. We are going to have a word called as one-to-one communication, or we can say there is a peer-to-peer relationship. There is a peer-to-peer a relationship which is happening between two processes. So a process A dedicatedly want to talk with process B. At that time, it is going to use only the concept of pipelining, etc. So this is regarding the basic characters of a operating system. This is regarding the basic characters of a operating system. After this, we have again the objectives of an operating system. We have the objectives of the operating system that we are again taking care of. So when coming to this objectives, yeah, when coming to this objectives, so the third thing, that is the concepts of an operating system. So we have this one we call here as a application layer, and after application layer it is going to have the operating system what we are going to take up, and then we do have the hardware thing here. So this position we are going to call it as operating system. It is going to take up the as an interface. So operating system, it is going to be an interface between this application and between the hardware. So at this stage we can say the user is there, and user he is going to give some application, and via this application he is going to make a correspondence between the operating system, etc. So why or what is the objectives and what is the functionalities of an operating system? It is very convenient to use and in a effective manner, and it is going to hide the details of the hardware resources. So hardware resources, it is already listed to you there. It can be a printer, it can be the drivers, or it can be the CPU cycles, memory, etc. And then you can see it is going to have a convenience user interface with the system. So and see it acts as an intermediary between the hardware and the resources, etc. That is what the primitives are going to mention. Okay, fine. The operating system objectives and functionalities you can look up. So it is going to support memory management, device management, process management, security, error detection and correction codes, coordination between user systems, job accounting, and file management. So these are some of the primitives, or these are some of the functions what this operating system is going to track it up. So the major roles, the major responsibilities of an operating system, these are all the core and integrated components on operating system. For each and every movement, it has to look up all these functions, either in a uniprocessor environment, either in a multiprocessor environment, either in a distributed environment, nor in a cloud environment. So what type of environment setup it is, there the operating system, it has to take up all these primitives. Yeah, again, you can see the same repetitive content is going to take up. So we have the users, and users, they are going to be above the application layer. Then they are going to have some utility programs. So utilities programs, yeah, we are going to call them as some application software, nor they are going to have some system software. So application software followed by system software, they are going to be part of this. And after that we have this operating system where this above that, then we have the bare hardware here. So when we are going to say this part, so that is the location what we are going to mention it up. So this part we can assume it is going to be a kernel here, and this part where we are going to say it is going to be a part of a shell, and user he is going to type up his commands at this stage in form of system calls. He is going to give his in form of system calls, and the bare hardware is going to be the fourth layer of the content. So how are these objectives fulfilled and how will be the utilities, what it is going to happen. So yeah, utilities, they are going to be the libraries, they are going to be the application programming interface, which are going to be railed up by the users. So that is one of a first and foremost primitive what we are going to understand. So the same repetitive content is going to be there. So here you can see one of a most high level diagram, the most high level diagram which it is illustrated, and it is going to illustrate up with some maintainability, etc. So this you can see this one application, it is going to be called as a Microsoft, sorry, a Google Chrome, followed by a Google Gmail, and then we have the general pop-ups for the regarding the mail applications, and there is one more browser, etc. And then this it is going to be the user here, and user he has going to have his application programs. He is going to put up his application programs at the application layer here. Yeah, and you can see it can be an Android operating system or it can be a iOS operating system, and they are going to be handled with the devices. In the second diagram, you can see a Ubuntu operating system. It's going to be called via this, and then it is going to support a Microsoft browser, Microsoft Edge, and this is some Google Chrome and Microsoft Word here, and they are going to be processed over this my Windows 10 or 8 operating systems, and again they are going to process it either using a desktop, nor they are going to be processed out using a laptop. This is what this new services are going to be taken up. So that is regarding the way a operating system is going to be approached. After that, we have one more topic to be taken up. That is the generations of the operating systems. The generations of the operating system we are going to take up. So the generation of an operating system, yeah, there are 4 generations what of an operating system what people are going to classify. That is first generation, second generation, third generation, and fourth generation. So those are all going to be tabbed into a column called as a history of operating systems. So when there is an origin of a first generation system, yeah, they are going to be implemented via vacuum tubes. Vacuum tubes replaced with transistors. Transistors replaced with an integrated chips, and these integrated chips now they are replaced with medium scale integration, large scale integration, and very large scale integration. So that is how a development has been happened in the fourth generation, etc. So the first generation of an operating system is 1945 to 55. 55 to 65 is the second generation, followed by 65 to 80 it is the third generation, and from 80s to end it will be the next generation systems here. Yeah. So now the overview, you can be focusing it out. That is, we have transistors and we have batch processing concepts, which has been arised in this second generation time. The integrated chips and followed by the multi-processing environment. So we can execute more than one program at a time. So that all concepts, they have arrived at the third generation operating systems, and the multitasking, multi-user environment, the distribution environment. So all those such setup of applications, they are going to be, they have been launched in the fourth generation operating system. So this is regarding the history of a operating system. So in this history of an operating system, the first demonstration will be the batch processing, will be the demonstration of the first element, which it is going to be the batch processing. So in an early batch processing, what it is going to happen was there is no floppy disk, there is no pen drive there. So everything at that time, people, they are going to work only on the magnetic tapes, nor they are going to have punched cards. So they used to have a punched card. So then they are going to have some magnetic tapes. So this is where the input is going to concern and where the output is going to be concerned. And magnetic tapes, it is going to have the original software. So it can be a Pascal, nor it can be a BASIC, nor it can be a Fortran. So all these are going to be the first and second generation computer, first generation and second generation languages. So those, they are going to be recorded via tapes. So here people, they are going to put their input to the card driver, that is at 1401, and 1401 now they are going to be bringing up to the CPU, that is 4078. This is now here the central processing unit is going to be there, which it is going to execute the things, and thereby again it is going to take up to the previous content. So at this stage we are going to have a card reader, and at this stage we are going to have a printer. So we can say this one, the punched cards, yeah, these are going to happen at an input device, the punched cards, and they are going to be processed with the system tapes, etc. Then they are going to have some output tape, and then they are going to be given a print command to the next level. So that is what this batch is going to happen. And in batch processing, it is going to say, if I'm going to have batches, so it is going to group the jobs, and after grouping the jobs, then it is going to start execution. So it can be a basic group, nor it can be a Pascal group. So in this way, it is going to group up the different jobs, and after grouping up the different jobs, then it goes for execution. So that is regarding the history of the operating system. You can see here. So the job, it is going to be origin, and it is fed up with the software called as Fortran. Then Fortran programs, they are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So n number of Fortran programs are there, and all of them, they are going to be executed. So then they are going to say it is going to be end. So the different jobs are going to be taken up, and then it is broken up into similarity. That is a Python job, sorry, that is Fortran job, that is basic job. So whatever software job it is, so if it is a Fortran job, so all the programs of the Fortran, they are pulled together and they are loaded and they are executed at a time. So that is how the first generation model is going to take up execution. So that is what we are going to call here as a batch processing. So that is all regarding for today. We will be continuing up the continuing the same topics, etc. in our next classes. So I'm going to download the attendance. So stop recording.